Hello everybody and welcome back to the Homestead. My name's Amanda. If you're new here, I do a lot of canning. I also do suburban homesteading where I have rabbits and chickens, and we are currently building our off-grid cabin up north in the Canadian wilderness. So if you are interested in any of those things, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and give me a follow. So today I picked up a lot of beef at the store the other day, and I am going to can that up to have some shelf-stable beef ready for the winter. I'm going to show you how I can my beef. It is really important to be able to can your own meat these days, especially if you're looking for some cheaper ways to have shelf-stable protein. The way I can my beef, you can also can venison, moose, and other wild game in the same way. Come along and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to be using my pressure canner today. For low acid foods like vegetables that are not being pickled or any meats, you have to use a pressure canner. I know especially old European ways, they water bath, but for the USDA standards, you do need to use a pressure canner to safely can those meats. So I'll show you how I can my meat up. So I've got my jars that are cleanly washed, and I'm going to just stuff these jars. I am raw packing my beef today, so I'm going to stuff these jars to about 1.25 inch head space. Alright, so I like to just come up right under the rim. That's about 1.25 inch head space. Now, I also like to use wide mouth jars for this, as it's just far easier to get your meat in and out of. So I also like to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt to these. You can put it in before you put your meat in or after, it doesn't really matter. These are going to create a lot of their own juices and kind of cook in their own juice, which is going to make them exceptionally tender and tasty. You don't have to add salt, it does add a little bit of extra flavor, so that's what I'm going to do today. Alright, so you're also going to want to wipe down your rim with vinegar because there could be extra particles or extra fat that would stop your jar from sealing. So by wiping it off with some vinegar, you just take away the extra particles or extra fat and make a nice clean surface for your lid to seal to. All right, so we are just going to get our nice clean lids on here. You're going to screw them fingertip tight. You don't want to go any tighter than fingertip tight. And then we're going to get these in our canner. So because these are not hot packed, I am putting them in my canner while my canner is still cool, with cool water in it, and I will bring everything up to temp together. The risk of putting cool stuff in hot water is obviously that your jars might crack. So to avoid that, you make sure your jars and your canner are the same temperature. Okay, so our jars are in the canner. I placed my jars like this just because my stove tilts backwards a bit, so if they are all to the back, they won't really rattle around or fall. I know with some people they like to fill their whole canner to avoid jars from falling, but by doing this I have never personally had a problem. So I'm going to get my lid on and get this canner boiling until steam starts coming out the top. All right, so I've got this going, and I'm just going to wait until steam starts coming out the top right here. Once it starts releasing from here, I'm going to time it for 10 minutes before I put my poundage on. Okay, so this has started to steam, so I am going to time it for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to put my poundage gauge on. All right, so this has been going for 10 minutes now, so I'm going to put on my poundage. I'm using 15 gauge. You're going to want to look for your elevation to see what works best for you. But at my elevation, I am using 15. Now I'm going to let this come to a boil, or up to pressure, sorry, and this is going to start jiggling. When that starts jiggling, I will start timing. So for my quarts, I'm timing 90 minutes. For pints, you can do 75 minutes. All right, so here's the final product. Here we go. You can see it bubbling away. Normally that's a really good sign that you've got a good seal. And as you can see there, it has popped down. Normally I find if it's not bubbling like this, it is not sealed. All right, so that's how you can meat. So once those are all cooled down, you can wash them off, take off the rims, and store them in a nice cool place. They should stay good if stored properly for up to 2 years. I think USDA says 1 year, but I know that they definitely stay good for longer than that, as long as you have a good seal and they are stored properly. So if you are looking for more canning recipes, or if you're looking for some more suburban homesteading, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I will link my canning playlist down below if you want to go take a look at that. That is all for me for today, and I will see you guys next time.